Okay. Takashi, did you have any amendments or changes to the 12-18 meeting minutes?
Did not.
George? No. Jack? You okay? I'd accept a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 18th, 2014 as written.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. So 12-18. Okay. It is now 7:15. Let's reopen the public hearing that's been continued for 100-0288. So good evening, Deshang.
Good evening.
I was hoping that you got my message. So, when we last left our meeting, we were at the point where we were ready to develop our set of our orders of conditions.
Right.
And so since that time, we're almost finished, but we're not finished with them. So unfortunately, we don't have anything to discuss tonight, other than to tell you that we're working on the orders.
Okay.
I will say that, Mr. Brown, I did swing by the other day with my youngest son, who has much better eyes than me, but we couldn't find that pipe. We looked again, luckily before there was any snow. We just could not find any evidence of any pipe out there. So,
I'd be happy to show you where it is.
well, I went looking again, and there was no stake, and we couldn't find it. So,
Okay,
so-
well, did you request that they stake it?
no, sir, you said you were going to stake it, so I went to look.
Okay.
We couldn't find it, we don't know where it is. Okay, we cannot stake if we don't know where it is.
Okay, I'd be happy to show whoever would like to see it right there. You
Well-
can just walk down right to it, so.
If you want to stake it so that they see it when they're during construction, that would be perfect.
Well, I'd like to show you before, so you see where it is in relation to what's being proposed.
I've tried several times. I can't find it, and it wasn't staked when I went out for a second trip. So, if you want to stake it tomorrow, I will be by there on Saturday.
Okay, I will stake it. Have to get a good stake from Dave.
Okay, yeah, that should be good. I just want to make sure you have hard copies. I did bring 2 copies.
That would be great. Yeah, we have the small version.
Yeah, it's better to have a full size. I have 2 copies. Thank you.
Okay, so for the record, these are SK drawings that Deshang is providing that show the drip line trench.
And then move the building 4 feet west. So now we have 17 feet separation from unit 95. And each building has their water and sewer. And we made a note here for other utilities, because usually the standard practice, the utility company, cable or telephone or gas, if they want it, they usually mark their route.
Right.
So we just made a note, so I don't want to dictate that. They're not going to follow anyway.
No, that's fine. You guys do control water and gas, that's perfect, but,
Yeah, water and sewer. So.
right, excuse me, water and sewer. Okay. So at this point, Deshang, the only purpose of our meeting tonight was to go through the orders of conditions. We have our list. Did you have anything further that you wanted to add or discuss?
Yeah, if we summarized all the hearing, last hearing, what we requested to do, and we did it, and reflected on the plan and put on the record to make sure, you have it.
Pass that to you so I don't lose it. No, that's perfect. Okay, so from your letter, you indicated that you had added the infiltration stone trench, which we just reviewed. You marked up for the trench locations, thank you. Added water and sewer to each, electric and cable to be determined by power and cable, as well as gas, as we just talked about. And the building has been moved 4 feet west from 13 feet to 17 feet from the last unit, unit 95.
Yes.
Okay, so those were all shown in the plans.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Brown, did you have any further comments before we close this?
I'm interested in hearing what your order says, but also I'd like to request that I come and look at the whole file, probably tomorrow, if it would be possible, come to town hall and review that, because I do have questions regarding some of the engineer letters and things like that, which, you know, were submitted to you folks but wasn't made public.
It's not that it wasn't made public, it was submitted to us and it's in the public record, you just have to request it.
Right, well, I'd like to review the files for those as well. And-
So-
And then take a look at the new plans.
Sure.
that thing.
So hold on one second. Are you in tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be in just for about 3 hours tomorrow morning,
Okay.
Starting at what time?
say 10:30.
10:30? Okay,
Does that work for you?
yes.
Typically, a file review, we usually schedule about a week in advance to make sure that we don't run into any complications, but since Jess will be there tomorrow, we'd be thrilled to accommodate it as long as it works for you as well.
All right, thank you.
Just in case something comes up, could I have a phone number to reach you?
Yes, 978-391-4854.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, so at this point, I just want to continue the public hearing to our next meeting, and our intent would be to email you the list of conditions ahead of time so that you'd have the ability to review.
Yeah, that would be great.
If you haven't seen those, feel free to email back. I know you have our emails, and we'll follow up from there.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So what's the next hearing?
Our next hearing is January 22nd. It's like a million years away.
Yeah.
All right, I would accept a motion, so if there's nothing else, I would accept a motion to continue this public hearing to January 22nd.
So,
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Duchesne. We'll see you then. All right, we have 8 minutes before our 7:30 meeting. So why don't we very quickly, any announcements or account payables?
Yeah, we can do the announcements.
Oh my.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm still looking at figuring out which goes where.
All right, so ACEC is noted as being scheduled this year for February 28th. Oh my.
So that is on the, we just got that today, on the plow shop pond remedial action alternatives.
All right. So, as Jess was just saying, we've received from Sovereign Consulting the AOC, the proposed plan for AOC 72 and SA 71, which, if I'm reading this correctly, appears to be the Plow Shop Pond and former railroad roundhouse. And this is for remediation of soils in those areas.
Yeah, so their meeting is January 15th, which is also when we wound up getting scheduled for the budget meeting with FinCom. So I figured someone like Takashi might look at that.
All right.
When you say that was the 15th?
Yeah,
So
And you said we have,
Thursday next week?
yeah. And we couldn't get the following Thursday for meeting with FinCom, so
Okay.
we got next Thursday for 7 o'clock. So not all of us can go to Plow Shop Pond.
right, FinCom's at 7.
Right.
Okay. You printed this out. This is the regulatory revisions workshops that are scheduled for January in Millbury, Charlton, and Northbridge. That's with Judith Schmitz. MRPC, updating the regional transportation plan. One meeting was on January 6th, and the other is tonight.
And that's why we got bumped over here, upstairs. Okay, and accounts payable. I did not submit this one yet because we haven't received the check from Borrego Solar yet.
Ah.
They won't pay it without the check in there. So I'll just submit that tomorrow.
No, that's
once
perfect.
the check's in hand. And the other one is that one, we now do have the checks in hand. so-
Right, okay. So this one was for Woodland Way and Canes. All right, so Woodland Way was the ANRAD.
Right.
Okay. So we have both of these checks. This is accounts payable to the Sun newspaper for one check in the amount of $60.86 and the other check in the amount of $71.60. So for a total of $132.46. We have both checks. I would entertain a motion to pay $132.46 to the Sun newspaper.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then just leave that one in there.
Perfect.
But make sure we get that check.
Well, I bet you Bryony will bring it up when she comes up.
Yes, I'm Benny.
All right. It is 7:27. Why don't we open our public hearing for Mass DEP file number 100-0379 for Borrego Solar Systems. Why don't you folks come get set up?
All right, there you go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm not even setting up this. Good to go? We're good.
We are, in just 1 second, there's a bunch of folks out in the hallway. I don't know if they're related to this.
Want me to see?
Only if you don't mind asking, just in case they're wondering if they're in the
They're
right.
totally not. But
Thank you very much. I just always feel badly. We've had that happen before, where folks are out in the hallway and they lose track of time, and then they miss the meeting, and then they're very disappointed.
Good evening, I'm Bryony Angus from Ty and Bond here on behalf of Borrego Solar. And what we have tonight for the commission, since the site walk that we did with a couple of commissioners on the 18th, I believe it was, we've made some minor modifications to the plans and brought final sets for the commission tonight. I'll just point them out. We have added, wow, this is an existing conditions plan. Didn't realize what I was looking at.
Well, actually, you know what? If you want to hold for just 2 seconds.
Yep.
So you folks are abutters?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I can back up if you'd like.
Yeah. What I was just going to say, because what I would love to do is for you to. I know you weren't at the first hearing.
Right.
Okay. So during the first meeting, Bryony explained to us what the existing conditions are and what the future plan is. So this is a drawing that shows what it looks like today. And we actually, was it the 18th or the 20th? We walked the. Thank you.
20th.
No, that's okay. We walked the line of the wetlands that are shown basically in blue.
Yep.
When we were out there that day. So one of the things that I think is really important for me to explain is we are a conservation commission. And so our job under the state law is for us to work with applicants to review what they're planning to do, review what the wetland resources or pond resources are in the area, and then once we've done that, we work with them to come up with a plan that doesn't affect those resources. So sometimes that's stormwater, and sometimes that's making sure that they take care of any soil on the property. So we don't have anything to do with whether you like solar or don't like solar. All we have to do with is they're going to be doing some digging and they're going to be cutting roads in. That's their plan. And so we speak to those aspects of the project only. So I very much appreciate if you have other opinions that need to be shared at a zoning or a planning board hearing, but they just don't apply here tonight. So please come along for the fun ride with us as we talk about what's planned.
But I'm not sure if you're aware, the project is on the ZBA here agenda for Wednesday the 14th, where you can talk about anything not related to wetlands. So just to talk about the differences to the, so for those who haven't seen it, we walked the resource area boundaries with the commission, and I think the commission was in general agreement with their delineation. This is just showing the one little guy that's across the street.
Right. If I may, if it helps, where are you folks located?
Pearl Street.
Pearl Street? Okay, so that's the other side, right?
This is way too zoomed in.
Yeah.
Can you? Oh, you're across. You're across there. Yep. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's in that direction for the most part.
Okay.
Maybe I do need you to justify your existence by. Sorry.
She doesn't mean justify your existence.
The eye candy, that's not true.
All right, don't need that one. All right, so on the proposed conditions sheet, what we have, a couple of changes since the original submission. The fence line has been raised up 6 inches off the ground in response to the request from Natural Heritage. We've added 2 additional lines of erosion and sedimentation control. Where is he?
That side, yep.
One's around this little guy here, and then the other is just generally along this, I can't even tell what direction we are, northeast edge. So 2 lines of erosion and sedimentation control. We have a small table on the sheet just showing all the acreage of our limit of work, the limit of fence line, and then our buffer zone impacts.
Great.
And then in response to, we have the comments from the DPW, and we addressed the comments that were sort of relevant for the plan set, so the contours are now labeled. With respect to the comments about grading, we added a note. Where's your note?
It's on the note sheet. The note indicates that the minor undulations are being regraded in the areas where the stumps will be removed,
Okay.
but the overall grading for the site and therefore the stormwater flows won't change compared with existing conditions.
Perfect.
I believe the commission had requested a spec sheet for the racking system, so that's
Thank you.
that.
Yes.
And then we went through the rest of the DPW comment letter and felt that the remainder of the comments were more appropriately addressed through the ZBA process. We did, I think, capture all the ones that are within areas that are subject to commission's jurisdiction. Am I missing anything else? Is this just the fence
That's,
detail?
no, the next sheet is the access road down to the street.
Okay.
Right.
So no changes to the proposed project or limit of work, just added clarifications on the drawings.
Okay. Takashi, did you have any comments from our walk?
No comments from the walk. I did have a question. The no-take determination that you had from Natural Heritage, I would presume that you'd at least be referencing that in some way within the plans, but will you be sort of rehashing the seasonal restrictions or what, or the, well, you already have the height of the fence.
We have the height of the
Right.
fence.
For the turtle exclosure, if you need to do that.
So, and I'd say you have our natural heritage.
Yep.
Yeah, the time of the construction
Right.
timing, I don't know if I would actually reference that in notes.
Okay.
We certainly could.
I guess my question is, how do you intend to?
They're gonna build it as soon as they can, making the note somewhat moot.
So the goal is to.
The goal is to
design.
definitely, so the comment that Takashi is referring to is that prior to April 1st,
Right.
we need a silt fence as a turtle barrier around the project, which we do. And then if we can't construct before April 1st, then we need a turtle protection plan,
Gotcha.
which would be something that we would develop and get approved by Natural Heritage.
If you end up in that situation, just
If we
please
end up
copy
in that
us on it.
situation, yeah. And we are obligated to, before construction, we need to provide Natural Heritage with an inspection report and photographs documenting proper installation of the silt fence. And there are some notes in here that we definitely could add to notes. on the plans for contractors. If the commission would consider closing and issuing it conditionally on that, we can certainly add that note.
I don't have an issue with that, do you?
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. George?
Good point.
Okay.
What note are we at?
So it's the details regarding how the silt fence is installed and sort of protocols for how it's maintained in condition number 1 of the natural heritage letter. You guys can keep that, yeah.
And there's two points to that anyway. So the first one is that prior to start of construction, we'd be notified to inspect the hay bales, so we'd be aware of the timing. So that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if you end up in that position where you're after April 1st, you have to get with Natural Heritage, so we'd have that letter from you at the time as it starts.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm sort of reading this way too quickly. Basically, we have to erect the fence prior to April 1st. If we are working April 1st to October 31st, all we need to do is inspect the fence on a weekly basis. We can just add this whole
Plunk.
note to the note section.
Okay. All right, so there's no more comments? Okay. Do you have any questions or comments?
How long is it going to take to start building?
This project, I would anticipate from start to finish, it should be in the neighborhood of 2 months, and that would include, from the beginning right through testing, installation, and actually interconnection.
Now the trees you guys are cutting where the bike trail is it just on one side of the bike trail you cut the trees or both sides?
Well, actually, so since both these folks are from out of town, when you say the bike trail, do you mean the trail that's cut through the woods right now, or do you mean the actual rail trail?
The rail trail.
The rail trail. So,
Which is easier to see on this, frankly.
yeah, it's kind of off the plan
Yeah.
that
So
we're looking at here.
We're fully on this side of the transmission line right away.
Right.
So we're
You'll
up
be
in
cutting
here.
all these trees?
No,
yet?
no, the limit of work is only on this side of the right of way.
Is it right over, like right over, there's like a little, the rail trails here, and then there's like a little.
So
area?
these overhead lines and these overhead lines,
Yeah.
this skinny one is this one. So, here, let me grab this for a minute and, oops, sorry, orient it. What am I doing? I'm not good at this. That's it, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So, this.
No, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
Because we walked up through here. So this clearing here generally follows this. So the project is in here. So there's absolutely no work between the transmission lines and the rail trail here. This is all outside the limit of work.
So it's gonna be higher on the
And
hill.
higher up on the hill.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
Now what about the water? How's it gonna run off after it's all built? Are we gonna talk about that at the ZBA or?
No, this is the purview for that.
Yeah.
So there's two parts of it. So whenever we do any kind of construction like this, whenever someone comes to us with an application to do construction, we talk about two aspects. First off, how are they going to affect the resources? So in this case, you can see that during construction, we have to be concerned about soil running off into the wetlands. And so during our walk, we noted that it's pretty steep down to those areas. So we looked for a double row of hay bales in those areas to protect that area from getting soil washed down in. The second thing is what happens when it's finished. So if they were paving this area, oh boy, that would be a big deal, and we'd have to worry about collection basins and the whole business. But it's not going to be paved. So what's going to happen is rain will hit the solar panels and then drop down onto the ground and go into the earth. So we're not creating an extensive amount of impervious soil. One of the things that we were looking for tonight was this picture. So this is what's going to be installed. In fact, actually, this is what's going to be installed. The proposal does not look to put concrete pads or anything like that into the ground, which would prevent water from getting into the ground. You plan to use these screws, which get driven down in, and then the panels are anchored to them. So there's very little impervious surface. There's very little change from what you have today. Today you have trees. Then you will have an area that is soil, that grass will grow, and as a result, these screws make a good. They make for a solid foundation, but they also mean that we're not covering a lot of ground that prevents the groundwater from getting back down in. So the idea is once the grass grows in, the applicant would come back to us and they would say, hey, the grass grew in. We would come out and inspect it. And once we were happy that everything looked good, then they remove the hay bales. And at that point, it goes back to performing just the way it did before any work was started.
And in fact, to add to that, from a hydrological point of view, the ability of the ground to absorb water in a forest isn't as good as it is when it's going to be grassed and maintained like is proposed around the solar system. So this should actually, it reduces the runoff curve number, so it actually increases groundwater recharge with what we're proposing for ground cover after the project is complete.
If you can think of it, when you look under trees, right, you might have some shrubs and things, but the trees have a drip line and the water comes down, and sometimes in a forest, I don't know if you've ever camped on the side of a hill in a miserable rainstorm, but it's amazing how much sheet flow there is under all those trees, and it runs down. And with the grass, it's certainly better. So
How high is the fence gonna be? How tall was it originally?
I believe I want to say it's a 6-foot fence that we proposed, but I'm guessing they're in the plans.
They are in the plans.
Chain link.
And that's all around the whole perimeter?
Correct. It's shown on the drawings. You can basically see the line with the X's is what we're proposing for the fence, essentially all the way around the system.
It is a 6-foot chain link fence.
The access road to get to that, that's gonna be right off Park Street here or Groton?
it's so you would come off straight across from McPherson.
Yeah.
So right across from McPherson, basically, you have the.
That's actually Bishop at that point.
I always call it that. Thank you. Right across from Bishop Road, straight across and up that hill.
Where the power line.
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
right.
It's the power line access.
The actual the drive is actually underneath the lines as you come up that hill. So there's no new disturbance. It's a road that's in place, which they use to clear the brush under the power lines, etc. So there's from the street you wouldn't really see any difference. I think, did you end up with a gate down there? You have a gate
No,
now.
the gate's going to be up at the entrance to the system. So you won't see anything from the road. It'll look the same.
I think the only thing that's covered is improvement of the road with stone.
Exactly.
Just stone.
Just stone.
It's not paved, right?
Never.
No.
No, pavement's hard to maintain out in the woods.
Okay.
Did you have any other questions?
I'm thinking it's higher up now. I thought it was over more by the rail trail, but it's even
Yeah.
higher up. Can you see it from the road? If you're on Pearl Street, will you be able to see it, or is it gonna be at the top of the hill?
I have to be honest, I don't know.
From our walk on a couple weeks back,
Yeah.
you couldn't see any of the roadways in any direction. So once we came up the hill, we were above the road, off of 2A,
Yeah.
but it kind of comes over and there's a long span between you and 2A, so we couldn't see the main road. And to the other direction, we were under the power lines, and it was woods, and even with the leaves down, I think we could see a couple houses off to the far corner. See how there's a break between the two wetland areas there, off to the left and right there. Yeah,
Yep.
I think we could see a couple houses off that way, but farther over in that direction. Which I'm sorry, I can't tell you what street that is, but that was about all we could see. Were a couple houses in that direction.
Looking up this way.
So it's gonna be,
In general,
Yeah, on this side.
yeah, so it's gonna be.
right, we could definitely see.
How
So
many
when we
acres roughly is it gonna be?
that's right on the plan.
The total limit of work, everything that's being cleared is 10.4 acres, and within the fence in the end is 4.7.
So in fact, if you look at, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your names.
Paul,
Paul.
Sherry.
Paul and Sherry Richard.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
So Paul and Jerry, the area where this panels are is absolutely being cleared, of course, for the installation of the panels. And then to the top of the plan, in that area in between the fence and where the panels are, the trees are being cut there so that sunlight will get to the panels. So that's what the nature of the project is. That's why it's 10 acres.
Now, say something was to happen and this doesn't, get enough energy from the solar for some reason or whatever, but could that, if you ever were to take those down, would it be easy enough just to,
Yeah.
there would be no issues with the ground at that point or whatever?
Yeah,
Something like
and
never
the-
existed, just in case,
Well, that's an interesting. So I guess there's two parts to that. So the first part is it's Mass Electric's property. So as far as that goes, I would assume that Mass Electric, if there was some issue up there, Mass Electric would develop solar up there anyway. Anyway, we've seen plenty of these installations.
Yeah.
After anything got pulled out, we don't have, because of the nature of our conditions, we don't have anything about removal of these ground screws or anything like that. However, that is something that could come up at a ZBA hearing. Oftentimes when there's an installation or a project, folks will say, well, how long is it going to last? And they say, 50 years. They say, great. What's the plan to clean up at the end of 50 years?
Right.
And that's not an unreasonable thing to talk about during a ZBA hearing.
Okay.
So, the screws are really cool. It says they're 82 inches long.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
3 inches thick, wide.
Yeah.
And, kind of meaningless to the discussion, but it's essentially a skid steer with a hydraulic drive on the front that they line these things up and they drive them down on the ground, and they can back them right out of the ground just the same way by reversing. It's a pretty efficient system with very minimal impact, and they work really, really well. And you can drive those things into fractured rock as well.
We thought it was pretty cool.
Is there any other tire barn, is there any other place around here that this is done?
Where are we?
Well, I can tell you, not of the same design, not with the same screw type anchors. Out on 70, if you were to head out the one that's on the way to Lancaster,
Yeah.
if you go to Michael's Bridge Diner for breakfast on Saturday morning, it's always a good idea. 70 south, and it's on your right side there, under the power lines.
Because there's also one in Shirley.
Is there?
Yeah, on Lancaster Road, the old airport.
The old airport.
That's all, but I don't know if they're,
No.
okay. I didn't know if it was the same company that did that, same kind of system, or.
I'm trying to think of other non-ballasted Borrego systems in Central Mass, and I'm not thinking of.
Well,
not
I tell you what,
thinking
only
of
because
our-
it doesn't apply to our hearing.
Okay.
Are you going to be at the zoning board hearing?
You are, right?
I believe I am.
If there's any way to
Yeah.
have that info for the hearing, that would be swell. So,
Now, are you Steve Long?
No, I'm Brian Huntley. I'm with
Brian
Time
Huntley,
Bond.
okay.
Yes.
Steve was with
Borrego.
Borrego. Okay.
Yep.
So,
You folks have any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I steal the screw sheets back, just so I'm going to put those in the file?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Anything else from you, sir?
I guess just one question. I can't remember if at the access point off of Park Street, you're going to be putting down any stone or anything just to keep dirt from tracking.
There was in the plan for the.
I didn't have a chance to review plans again.
We typically do have a detail for a tracking pad.
Yeah, I think there was a.
I thought there was, but
I thought there was too.
Okay. Detail sheets. What's that? No. We can certainly.
I
Yeah,
remember.
for some reason it's not proposed, but I mean, we certainly
Well,
would
we're adding
entertain a
it.
condition
Are you
if you
sure?
wanted to include
I
a
thought there was a
tracking
detail.
pad at the.
No, hold on.
He puts over every single one of the things.
Brian, I would have sworn there was either a detail or a note. Hold on.
I thought there was as well. Sheet 2 of them.
Could it have been taken off the plan?
No.
No. There's a note about removing sediment from public right of ways. Well, we're adding the natural heritage note, so it's incredibly easy for us to add a tracking pad.
Yeah. Why don't we do that, please? I'm glad you brought that up, Takashi. I would have sworn there was one.
pictures. It's not funny.
Okay,
These are for the commission. They're, I mean, you can certainly look at it, absolutely.
We're not even leaving. You guys
Oh, we're not?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You guys don't want these. Oh, yeah, we do. But we're gonna update them again. We're gonna add the natural heritage note and a garden pet, so
take them back and only take
Don't
off the plane you don't need to,
Yeah.
right?
clutter you guys up with stuff you don't need.
We don't mind the extra staple marks. Okay, so I don't have any problem with us conditioning based upon that. If anybody has any other comments, what we would do under our normal process is we would vote to approve, and if the commission approves at this point, we would continue the public hearing to our next meeting, at which point we would exchange the conditions that we've created. We don't really have any special conditions that we've developed, other than to add the pad that we're talking about here.
Yep.
But after that, we would submit our boilerplate conditions to you that we were looking to discuss during the next hearing, which would be on the 22nd. If you have no issues, you don't have to appear. Just submit the marked up plan, and then we would move on from there. If there were some questions or concerns, then we would certainly be happy to hear you on the 22nd. Does that make sense?
Yep, so well, we can do this quickly, but when should we get you the final revised plans?
As long as you had them for the 22nd, we could review
Really?
them during that meeting.
So then you would need to come. Or-
Well, she
I
doesn't
don't
need
want
to,
to
just
come.
needs to send.
Yeah, so, all right, sounds good.
Okay, so that's the normal plan. So, just one more time. Did you have any further
That's it.
comments? You, sir?
Nope.
You, miss?
Nope.
Okay. So, I would accept a motion, and no further comments from the audience. I would accept a motion to issue an order of conditions for DEP file number 100-0379, with the note that there is an inclusion to be made on the plans, the Natural Heritage note inclusion, and a track pad for dust and dirt control at the bottom of the access road.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. If there's nothing further, then we will continue the public hearing to January 22nd. Again, only need to be here if you have any concerns or questions.
Perfect.
Otherwise, we'll be set. So I would accept a motion to continue this public hearing to 122.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
You as well.
Now I feel bad I didn't say that to Deshaun. Okay.
So my goal is next week to have drafts of both orders of conditions for both the Willows and Borrego. Don't have anything else on my plate then.
Perfect. That's good.
Good.
You know, it's upsetting when you try to spell perfect and it doesn't spell correct that. How does that make any sense? All right. Thank you again. Drive
Thank you.
safe. All right, we have 6 minutes before our 8 o'clock hearing. So during that 6 minutes, I am going to, actually we did announcements, we did accounts payable. This is completely tangential, but that's the kind of screw that they use. Have you seen those?
What are we talking about?
That's the,
No.
that is the device that they're using for anchoring the solar panels. I thought those were pretty cool. Just in case it ever comes up. All right, we have 5 minutes until our 8 o'clock. Why don't we very quickly review our letter from Mr. Pinto. So Lee, did you know we got the letter from Mary Ann DePinto? We were just talking about it earlier. So we issued,
It's in your file. Thank you.
for file 100-0363, we issued an order of conditions, and Mary Ann DePinto of DEP walked with the neighbors.
They weren't allowed on the property.
They weren't on the property. She went to the property with the neighbors. Thank you. She walked. They did not.
And JP and me.
she noted that she was looking for different criteria for designing stormwater components, meeting stormwater management standards. Infiltration basins must be set back a minimum of 50 feet from the surface water. Infiltration basins cannot be constructed and filled, nor can they be used as sedimentation basins during construction. She indicated that the basins denoted number 2 and 3 are to be constructed on the 2 lots at the end of the cul-de-sac. She said that without a drainage easement or deed restriction in place, there's no assurance that these drainage structures will be maintained as constructed. She also noted that they took the credit for monthly street sweeping, which she did not believe would occur, and I'm assuming the town agreed with her. She said, based on the above, the department hereby issues the attached denial of the order of conditions. It is the opinion of the department that the work as presented cannot be conditioned to adequately protect the interests of the act. In the opinion of the department, the reasons given here are sufficient to justify the enclosed superseding order of conditions. However, the department reserves the right to raise additional issues and present further evidence as may be appropriate. A new notice of intent should be filed with the Conservation Commission if work is to proceed in the buffer zone or within resource areas.
And they also sent copies of their infiltration VMPs. One, 2 copies, the same.
All right, so it's just the verbal write-up. So one of the things that I was kind of hoping we would do is talk to Mark Wetzel, DPW Super. So in general, when it comes to the stormwater, as we have done in the past, it gets handed off to Mr. Wetzel. He reviews the stormwater proposal. He comes back to us with any recommendations. He did not have any recommendations with regard to the items that Mr. Pinto mentioned. So I'd like to talk to him about those. Are those items that he would have had the same issue with? And also to find out if we're going to have a stormwater issue, is this something that we should consider using the consultant bylaw for in the future so that we don't have the same problem? All right, anyone have any other comments on that? I snuck it in, it's perfect. All right. We have 1 minute, during which point I will tell you that I'm going to walk the Epic fence line on Saturday sometime around 1 p.m. If anyone is around on Saturday at 1 p.m., I'd be happy to let you know when I'm back in the area. But I reached out to Jesse Johnson, told him that I would be available. They had talked about having John Blood, the superintendent for the building, was going to join me, but he can't make it. So I passed by it a couple times. I remember the walk we did the last time. So if anyone is interested to come along. I'm noting that no one jumped up and down. Okay. With that, it is 8 o'clock. Let's open the notice of intent. We have a public hearing for DEP file number 100-0380, Family Dollar Store Construction.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Philip Henry with Civil Design Group. We were the civil engineers on the project. With me tonight is Nicole Hayes with Goodard Consulting, our wetland scientist, and Doug Murray with Hunt Real Estate, the applicant. I guess what I'd like to do tonight is walk through with you the existing conditions, the proposed conditions, with a focus on the resource areas that we delineated. Any specific things you'd like to ask regarding the resource areas, that's why Nicole's here. I'll walk you through the existing watersheds related to the resource areas and walk you through the proposed methods, how we're going to treat stormwater.
Okay.
So what you see here is the existing conditions. Highlighted in yellow is the subject site located at 19 Fitchburg Road. I'm sure you're familiar with the site. Isaac Lane is in the back. Abandoned site right now, largely impervious. I think it's 0.62 acres of the 0.95 acres is impervious. In terms of the areas that we delineated, starting from I guess south and working our way north, we delineated an isolated wetland system, and I guess in the southeast corner here. And then we classified these as just a drainage disc, non-jurisdictional drainage disc, mainly because the pipes are conveyed there, and there's two twin 28-inch RCP pipes conveying water from one side, from the south, all the way to the north. And then here we have our wetland system here, which carries a 100-foot wetlands, a wetland area. We also delineated off of the aerial mapping a natural heritage area located as such here. We have since received a letter from them saying that we are not in any jurisdictional area. Looks like you received that as well.
We did. I was going to let you know.
Okay. The site is largely drained by 3 catch basins located here, actually 4 catch basins here, and they discharge right into the river. Some of them are clogged. They're not in good shape. They're in disrepair. So what we intend to do is rip out all the infrastructure, all the drainage infrastructure, and install a new system as well as the existing RCP pipes are all clogged. They're about halfway filled. You can't even see the inlet in them. This is just the site plan, just to give you an idea of what the site is going to look like. 8,300 square foot structure, single access drive on Fitchburg Road. There's ample landscaping out in front and along the sides. You'll notice here that the 100-foot zone stretches on the north side. We are not proposing any impervious area within that buffer zone. So we are out of the buffer zone. And we are also decreasing our impervious area by 0.02 acres. This is the grading and drainage plan. In the existing condition, there's a curb. In the existing condition, there's a curb on the south side, and pretty much all that area drains into the existing inlets and discharges directly into the system. So when laying this site out, we like to mirror the existing watershed. So essentially, this entire site drains to an inlet here and an inlet here, 4-foot deep sun-footed inlet, piped to a storm scepter, and then discharged via riprap slope, a riprap flared end. In the process, we're also adding some small retaining walls just to achieve some grade. And on the south side here, we're extending the culverts so that they could actually convey water in a safe manner. So I guess in summary, we feel that there are no adverse impacts into the adjacent wetlands, and I'd be happy to answer anything specific. Although I should mention that I did speak to Mark's team,
Mark Wetzel.
Yep, Mark Wetzel and the new engineer. We went through his comments. We are in receipt of those comments. As it pertains to stormwater, they obviously reviewed the stormwater plan, and I'm assuming they were satisfied with it. The only issue that they had was we needed to provide an estimated number for operation and maintenance, and to identify safety features, which I spoke to Dan today, and I've asked him to. I asked him about that. I asked, what exactly do you mean by that, safety features? And he's going to get back to me, as that was Mark's comment and not his. So.
Fair enough. All right, so why don't we start talking? Do you have any questions?
No, none.
Okay, George?
Can you just go over your protections during construction?
Sure. We envision this being a single-phase project, so the first thing we'll do is we'll delineate the limit of work, which is going to be the existing lot, and we have erosion control. We use wattles. We'd be happy to use hay bales or whatever the other town prefer. That will outline the entire site, all limit of work. There will be some redundancy in terms of erosion control specifically at the outlet, the inlet and the outlets of the water. Just as we're constructing the wall, as we're achieving grade, we just don't want to make sure any erosion occurs within the ditches. So we'll also have a construction fence, and we'll also have our construction entrance, our stone construction entrance, so vehicles don't track mud and dirt and onto the road and vice versa.
As a follow-up to George's question, do you have a detail on the head walls that you're planning to build?
At this time, no. We have a typical detail of the retaining wall. Subject to approval, we will then design the walls with the head wall as well.
Okay.
Is there, Doug Murray from Hunt Real Estate, is there something you're looking for? We usually go for a segmented wall when we can.
No, it's just more along the lines of, so our typical process is the applicant comes in, we review the project, we ask the kind of questions you can ask with a set of plans, and then we attend a site walk, typically on a Saturday morning. And so in this particular case, the two places where our greatest concern is where you're directly impacting the wetlands.
Right.
And so you've got a head wall on one end and a head wall on the other end. So to me, the most important thing is what's the design of the head wall, because that reflects really what you're going to have to do to protect that area while you install it. So that's the reason for the question.
Okay.
I don't have a preference, so not to interrupt you, I don't have a preference. It's just that I'd like to understand what your intentions are so that when we're out on the site, I can better evaluate what that means to the area that we're talking about.
But just in terms, we would, first off, a unit wall, is much simpler to put in, so less disturbance.
Sure.
And also it's simpler to put in, it's cheaper.
Right.
And so, unless there's a requirement to do a concrete retaining wall, we wouldn't do it.
No, and the term head wall is just simply what's your interface going to be. So, but that would definitely be the means and method of construction of that wall would definitely have to be part of the application because it's part of what your protection is going to be. So I appreciate that you would hold off on the design, but we would have to have some kind of design information.
Okay.
Where it was going to be, how deep it was going to be, how it would be placed, what you'd have to do to protect around it. That kind of information is crucial to this application.
Yeah, so so the height of the wall, the location of the walls are shown on the plan. Are you looking more for a cross-sectional area?
Well, in this particular case, you're going to be digging right next to the resource.
Yep.
So how deep? How
Okay.
far? What are you going to do to protect the area?
Okay.
Okay. I didn't mean to cut you.
That's fine.
Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. Did you have anything else? Ms. Curtis? Okay. So at this time, the application is to take down the existing structure, remove the pipes that are in place today.
No, not the main culverts, not the main drainage culverts.
Just going to clean them out.
Yeah, we would clean them out, and then on this end, on the southerly end, we're going to extend the culvert to the head wall,
Gotcha.
which is on our property. And on the grading and drainage plan, there is an approximate limit of work, about 5 feet outside of that head wall.
Okay. All right. And on the other side, you have the storm scepter to put in.
Yep.
Is the drainage structure is there now or is not there? You're going to install a new drainage structure?
Yeah, the existing catch basins are all going to be ripped out.
Okay. Sorry, that's what I heard.
Yep.
So the catch basin comes out, new catch basin, new storm scepter,
Yep.
and then the new head wall and
Yeah.
pipe exit.
Yeah, on the northerly side, we don't need to extend the head wall. We can pretty much meet where the culverts are conveying water. So we don't need to extend or cut.
Okay.
Does it matter to the committee, the commission, whether or not we do replace those culverts or not?
No, when we were talking about ripping out the drainage structures, I just assumed that meant the culvert pipes as well. That's why I was asking.
Well, if we get in there and find out they're extensively damaged,
So
would that be a problem for us just to replace them, or would we have to come back before it?
no, there would be, so there's really two parts to the work. So as long as the work occurs inside the limit of work, that would be the first part. And then the second part would be that if you had soil piles or material that you pulled out, as long as it was contained in such a way that it didn't overrun your mitigation, then that's not an issue either. what we would probably appreciate at that point is a call to the office to let us know that you would run into a difference of conditions, if only so that we could come out and we wouldn't be surprised by a huge mound of dirt that we didn't expect to see. Because those are the phone calls that no one likes to get, and that's no good for anybody. In this particular case, because you do have such a small parcel, if you ran into a problem, we would probably indicate in our conditions that we would request that you would haul off material that you couldn't store appropriately. Just with the idea that if you ended up digging that whole area up, you'd end up with a pretty good sized pile of soil. So we'd ask that you remove that from the property as quickly as possible. And of course, being on the main road, you'll get a lot more attention than if you were in a neighborhood. So, anything else? Oh no, thank you. So, the pipes, the head wall, 2 structures. Other than that, you're removing a lot of pavement.
Yeah.
Okay.
While you're removing it, since you're gonna grind it and stockpile it.
Yes, that, if we can reuse it, grind it and stockpile and reuse it, we would sometimes use it as suitable fill. That's to be determined though.
I was referring to from a square footage point of view, but yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
yeah,
because
I
the back
guess-
half, if you go to the color drawing again,
Yeah.
I think the back half of the property is now green.
Exactly, yeah, I wanted to focus in on that. In the existing condition, this is the existing car wash here.
Right.
And this line here is the edge of asphalt. So if you could just, say, focus your eyes on that part here, as opposed to, this is all greenery right here. And that's the area that, because that's the area that drains right into the well.
Right. All right. Lee, you didn't have any comments? No? Okay. The last thing was just to cover the comments in case we have any questions before the site walk. So Mr. Wetzel talked about a 25-foot buffer zone boundary line is not shown. For buffer is not shown.
What is that?
I'm looking at general comment number 1. This
You-
is the letter dated December 29th. Do you have this one?
No.
Really?
We have the one dated January 5th.
Do you have a copy that I could take a look at and see if they match up?
Sure. I've marked it up.
That's quite all right. Thank you. Oh, it's odd now, isn't it?
It is.
No. Well, and I tell you what, so thank you. We'll bring you a copy during the site visit,
Okay.
or you can certainly pick one up if you're around.
Is there an extra one that we could look at tonight?
I think we can give you one right here.
Yeah.
All right, so the first note. So this is from both the superintendent and the town engineer, who's brand new, which is very good. So he mentions a 25-foot zone boundary line not shown on BBW. All right, may qualify as an isolated land subject to flooding.
Oh, you know what it is? It looks like some of these are overlaps.
Well, to be fair, when I looked over the two, I just looked to see if any of them started out the same way and ran the same way, but they did not.
Yeah, a lot of these are overlaps. There are, I guess, a few written in a different way.
Sure.
Um,
Well, ones that are most crucial. So he
Yeah.
talks about the buffer zones, and that's something that we would talk about during our walk.
Okay.
He talks about existing utility connections for water and gas.
Yeah.
Did you find those when you're out there? Has the property been dig saved?
It has, but I spoke to Dan today. He's gonna send us a water card. We didn't see anything out there,
Okay.
and you could email National Grid like a request for a location. They could send you back a map. So we are gonna do that.
Okay. Well, we'd be happy if you just had it dig saved and put it on the plan.
Yep. Okay.
It's just the easiest way.
Yeah.
tree canopy bordering the northwest portion of the site is not labeled to remain or be removed.
Yeah, that comment is right here. We label it here. It's a typical note, so, but the existing tree line is not to be disturbed.
Okay. Thank you. All right, mentions natural heritage is all taken care of. Driveway connecting to the turbo loop, does that connect?
Yep,
Okay,
there's a cross access here.
all right. He says shows curb and paving work to be done, but it's outside the erosion control measures.
Yeah, on the grading plan, what I explained to Dan today is that area disturbance is up gradient of the erosion control, so we obviously want to put the erosion control downstream, so it's going to be draining into that erosion control.
Okay. Something we can look at when
Yeah.
we're there. He told you he'd tell you what he was looking for with public safety features?
He said he'd get back to me.
He noted on here that he was looking, did he mention to you on the other paperwork, he was looking for a manhole for the sewer service connection?
Yeah.
Did you agree? Is that something you're going to change in the plan?
He's requiring it.
Okay. So yes? Are you guys going to be able to get away with the 2-inch service that's on site?
No, Family Dollar actually uses a 1-inch domestic service. We're going to show calculations of the same. And then we're adding a fire line as well.
I was gonna
So
say.
we have to do some work on that to determine if we can come off of Isaac Lane with the water line, as Mark suggested. So.
Okay. That's not what's shown on the plan right now, though, is it?
No.
Okay.
We need to modify that. Earlier today, we received site plan review approval from the planning board. So,
Great.
and these are conditions of approval.
Okay. Yep, he mentions in number 5, he asks about the size, and then number 8, he mentions coming off of Isaac Lane. Okay. All right. We don't seem to have any further questions. Do you have anything else you'd like to present? The green cards. Thank you very much.
And I owe the check.
That would be fantastic.
Yes, I do have it, but it's gonna take me a minute to.
Thank you so much. All right. Do you have the amount written down to, no offense, do you have the amount written down to make sure we're on the same page?
I believe it is.
Okay. I only ask because the accountants are
Yep.
accountants. Okay. The next step in our process, well, if there's nothing else to discuss, the next step in our process is to schedule a walk on the site. Actually, I'm sorry. The Richards are here. They live off Pearl Street. They're not direct abutters, but they were concerned.
We're off Pittsburgh Road too.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well, there you go.
So we are abutters to it.
My apologies.
Yeah, so the question I had is, we're right in front of those isolated vegetated wetlands, and our land gets pretty wet in the spring.
Okay.
So much so that we have to have a sump pump in the summer.
You're the house just to the right.
Yes,
Couple houses.
couple houses.
Down here.
Okay.
Right, with an isolated vegetated wetlands is.
It's in
Right.
the back
Like right-
here,
Yeah, right in front of that is our house, and then a vacant lot, and then another house. That vacant lot gets pretty much flooded out during the spring, which comes into our land. So I just wanna make sure that everything's gonna be, or when this is being developed, that the water runoff's not gonna continue to run into that.
Will we get more than what we get now?
No, we are reducing the peak rate of runoff along this property line here. And in the process, we're actually gonna be opening up the drainage of the existing infrastructure. So I would suspect that it's actually gonna be an improvement.
Okay.
because a lot of this is clogged here,
Yeah.
so we're gonna be opening that up.
Okay, how about something in the back where the dumpsters and the receiving loading area is? Is there gonna be a lot, you're gonna have to build it up some?
Yeah,
So the water's gonna be going off back there?
yeah, let me show you the grading plan. I don't know if you could see it. There's
You can turn it for them. We're good. Thank you.
Well,
If you want to turn it so they can see it.
can you see it?
Not very well.
No. Okay.
You turn it a little more, yeah, it's picked up. Yeah.
So essentially, the watershed onto this property here is this area right here.
Mhm.
There's a ridge line here that we're creating a drainage divide. So
Okay,
anything here is going to go this way. Anything along on the asphalt is going to go into this catch basin and get piped this way.
okay.
So anything that is flowing via overland flow on the south is this little piece right here, and then this little strip of grass that is on the back of the curb. So all asphalt's being captured on site.
Okay.
There's no direct runoff.
Okay.
One of the, hopefully, a benefit that you'll see is that the original property, when it was built, wouldn't have been built with the standards that we have today for how to capture the stormwater. So the idea would be at this point that the applicant is more responsible for their stormwater than they might have been in the past. And in this case, they have to do calculations to figure out what's going to happen. One of the things that Philip talked to us about was that he's reducing the amount of paved area, so that also increases the amount of area where water can infiltrate. So, all right,
Yeah, that's good.
wonderful. No, thank you for coming. Okay, so if there's nothing further, our next meeting is on the 22nd.
We're doing sidewalk, right?
Yes, I was just getting to my calendar to figure out what day Saturday was. So this Saturday, the 10th, unfortunately, I have an appointment in the morning and I can't go. Is anybody, can people make the 17th, and next Saturday in the morning?
Working on it.
Is it-
I have no service in here. Yeah, I can.
Wonderful. 17th work for you folks?
What time?
Usually we do it at 6.
He does it alone at 6.
There's a lot of complaining if it's before 8. So typically what we do is we do 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Are you coming from far or
North Andover.
just up the street?
Yeah, just up the street.
All right. So why don't we plan on 9 o'clock? And only because the Richards are here, I'm going to mention that it is we have had to limit access on properties during site walks for liability reasons. So unfortunately, you can't join us for the site walk, but the site walk is only for us to get a better feel for the application with a field walk. So I'm sorry you're not invited. Just so you know when you don't show up. Okay, so 9 a.m.
So kind of just add, so
Just
in order to make this, I'm obviously new to, I haven't presented in front of this board before. In order to make the field trip most effective, what can we do in advance should we provide some stakeout of just the approximate limits of the wall out in the field, approximate area of disturbance?
That would be great. I mean, in this particular case, normally we're walking a flagged wetland or something to that effect, and we don't have that here. So in this particular case, if you can stake out the areas, especially if they're not readily discernible from the area, if you can show us what the limit of work is going to be for the head walls, that would probably be about the most important. After that, everything else is going to be inside of your protected area, and we don't have a lot of grade, so that's not an issue.
Okay.
So that would really be the most important thing for us to know.
And in terms of to-do items for the plan, it looks like you want to see a typical cross-section area of the retaining wall, of the head wall itself.
We can certainly discuss it while we're out there as well, because for all I know, it's a simpler discussion than we're having. But in general, in order to install a head wall, what folks have done, they've done one of two things. The railroad did a culvert that was right in a stream on a project back a couple of years ago, and they used a precast head wall so that they didn't have to do any prep.
Okay.
It was easier for them. If you want to do a different kind of head wall installation, you may have different preparation requirements. You may have to set a stone bed, so you may have to fence the area off, you may have to pump it out, you may have to do other things in order to make that possible. So we would want to know what that process was for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, yep, it does.
All right, so site walk, Family Dollar, 9 a.m. on the 17th. That's pretty much what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to better understand exactly where you're headed with the work that you're going to have to do, especially because if you're doing anything with the drainage, you're doing it right down in the wetland area.
Okay. And then we can be on the January 22nd agenda?
Absolutely.
Okay. And assuming that site walk goes well and we're responsive with our comments, would that be typically a final hearing, or does it get extended?
No, in general, that would be the last hearing. So if we had no other questions and there was no issue, then during that hearing, we would vote to issue the order of conditions. We would continue to the next meeting. We would send you our draft. You would have a chance to review it. And then if you had any comments, we'd welcome you back on the 12th. But if you didn't, then we would close it out on the 12th. With anything you had, you wouldn't have to appear.
Okay.
In this particular case, it looks like you do have some notes to add already with regard to the sewer manhole, the drain, the water service off of Isaac's Lane. Lane.
Yep.
And also we would need the head wall information. So
So in terms of the timing, we may not be able to get answers to, say, like the water for instance, due to whatever timing, schedule, because I need feedback from the town.
sure.
Stuff that's not pertaining to the resource areas or stormwater. Would that force a continuance of a hearing by any means, or?
What would generally happen in that situation is if it was going to be, for instance, one of two options,
Okay.
then what we would probably look for is you to show both of them on the plan.
Mhm.
That way, whichever one you used, we'd already have an idea of what you were going to do to protect that area.
Okay.
Yeah, our intention, especially with something as simple as a trench for a water service, is not to hold you up over it. Our intention is to just better understand what you're going to do to protect the resource areas during your work.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, and nothing from you folks, then we would look forward to seeing you on the 17th at 9 a.m.
Okay.
All right, so I would accept a motion to continue this public hearing for DEP file number 100-0380 to January 22nd.
So,
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
All right. We have an 8:30 public meeting for 8 Amandry Way. Are we expecting to see someone?
No. We discussed this at our last hearing, the request for a certificate of compliance.
Yes.
And you asked if I would
Have a
try
nice
to
night.
find the subdivision plans.
Yes.
I did. Don't know if I'm supposed to
Seven
take
Seas
them.
Realty.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
I got a gold star for that.
Yes.
I'm gonna bring you one.
I think what's important is that mimeograph smell, huh? All right, so 8 Demandry Way is way down here. Who was, didn't we visit,
The
was it
last
10?
one, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, right, because she had that basin behind the house. Okay, so we've actually been down on this road a long time ago. Scheduled to close Monday, 11/24. Excellent.
Right, so that came in, I think,
On 11/23.
no, actually Becky didn't get the, they wanted it ASAP, but then the actual request for the certificate of compliance didn't come in until just before she left in December. So she assumed that the closing already took place.
Yeah, it looks like it didn't come in until December 9th. Okay. Was that for half a second? Okay. So the only spot on the property that has any effect at all is this last corner where the buffer zone is, where they're inside the buffer zone rather. They don't have a detention basin on their property. That's the storm drain. And in 1995, apparently that dumped right into the wetland. Why would that go into the detention basin? Am I misreading it? I don't think so. Right? That's the drain? So this one has a catch basin and a manhole and drains to the detention basin. This detention basin doesn't do anything. Well, that's queer. Huh. Well, there you are. Okay. Clearly, before you and I joined.
Yes.
When did you join?
2001.
All right. Thought you were going to say 96. All right. In this particular case, have you had a chance to swing by?
No, I think you said you would like to
Okay.
do that.
So now that I know what I'm looking for, I'll swing by on Saturday and take a peek. We'll go from there. Should take about all of 10 seconds. Okay. Anybody have any further comments or questions about this? I know you couldn't see, Lee. Did you want to sniff the mimeograph paper?
No, thank you.
Sure. It's still strong.
Did we get an as-built plan as part of that request?
Do we get a what?
An as-built plan?
They weren't required back then.
Yeah, I know. I'd be willing to guarantee you it wasn't required back then.
They didn't send them as a courtesy? I'll take that as a
No.
Yeah, if you wanted to take a look at the special conditions.
That's it?
Interesting. Well, I could go on and on about my concern about catch basins and the way they get installed, but I'll save that for another time. All right, so there's your file. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so far as this public meeting is concerned, for 100-0152, visit on 110.
So I'll just put it back on the agenda just for us to sign it.
Yes, please. You can probably put it right between Family Dollar and Brigo Solar next time. Okay. So we are running on time. That can't be right. We have covered everything.
We were going to add a couple.
Yeah, and they're all pushed up to 9 o'clock. So let's do our 8:35 overview of Mass DEP wetland regulations.
Lucky for you guys, I am not ready for that one. Now we're early.
Now we're moving. All right, let's talk about the Conservation Administrator job posting. So I reached out to Robert and Lisa. I received information back from from Lisa that she believed Robert needed to go to town council. I did not get a response from Robert as of 2 minutes of 7 tonight. I checked my email before I walked in the door. So we're waiting for information from Robert from town council regarding our ability to pay temporary staff, which I don't think is going to be any problem, but Lisa asked that he ask. Lisa's daughter had done this in the past, so I'm not sure why it's an issue, but we'll wait for it to come from Robert. With regard to the posting, I have the one that we had, and I did not bring it with me tonight, but I don't really think we have anything different to add. I was going to use the one that we had used for Becky so many years ago. It seemed to be the most effective one we ever wrote.
I mean, the entire job description.
Yes. So I was going to forward that to Robert. Robert will post that for 5 days, and then he will assist us with advertising that to all. So I will shoot that to all of you. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know, but get it to Robert for next week. 2016 budget preparation.
Okay, so, wait a minute.
No, I was just smiling because that was a drawing, and I was
Yeah.
fairly certain it wasn't it.
Okay, so after that, we do have to get that done. They wanted that by December, but we're obviously outside of that, so.
What do they want to know?
Turn to the next page. Do we want to change, actually, the next page after that. Do we want to change the amounts that we're requesting?
Oh. Okay. All right, so at this point, we have a budgeted salary item for our conservation agent or administrator. We have $290 for, wait a minute, these are actuals, sorry. My apologies. Okay. At present, we have a line item of $18,097 for our conservation administrator. So, at this time, 18,097, come on, divided by 52 is $348 per week. I think our pay rate is between 19 and 20, something around there.
I think she was about 22 or 23.
Did she get the step? Oh, that's right, she got the step.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to do 22. I miss my Hewlett Packard. So that gave, yeah, that makes sense because that's a 16 hours per week.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, that would be our total. Obviously, we'd all like to have a person who works more than 16 hours a week, but we are limited at 20 at this point. Actually, excuse me, 19 at this point, 19 hours per week. So if we were to reverse that and do 19 times 22, times 52 weeks, we would need $21,736. Anyone see any reason to not request $21,736? Okay. Okay. Then we have 150 for services. Apparently, over the last couple of years, we've spent more than that. So on here, it says that this year, for services, supplies, public hearings, and other charges.
Other charges includes mileage reimbursement that Becky got.
So 290 plus 615 plus 110 plus 844.99 is $1,860. And the budget that is proposed, come on, in an unrelated note, we had a discussion today about blackberries, is $1,825. So actually this request is for less than we spent last year. But considerably more than we spent the year before. So the items are services, supplies, public hearings, and other charges. I assume that adds up based upon materials that we need for the office, any advertising that we have to do for our own public hearing, which is in here at $100, and other charges would probably be our MACC dues, etc.
We also did a couple hundred for the trail map.
Oh, that's right, for the trail maps.
Which we'll probably have to do again, or consider doing again.
Okay. So it comes out $35 less than what we had before. We're asking for about $3,500 more than they're offering us for the salary line. Do we want to accept these numbers for services, supplies, public hearings, and other charges? Considering last year was more money, but the years before were much less.
Do we know what changed or what the difference was last year versus
Well, I think part of it may be as
the monthly?
Jess